Today we're going to be talking about health and safety. So there's some big moves in the architecture and building industry in the UK with health and safety shifts. We've got the Building Safety Act coming into play. There's a lot of communication from local authorities, building regs department, building control departments, saying that if you've got certain buildings at risk, then most of the information needs to be in to qualify for the Building Safety Act. So there's a lot of chat about that, and there's a lot of people talking about what's the difference between principal designer for CDM and what's the difference between the principal designer for building regulations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire this into my trusty automated tool here, which is ChatSonic. I'm using WriteSonic, and I'm going to ask it, let's see, building regulation principal designer versus principal designer CDM. Oh, let's even spell it right. Let's see what it says. Okay, it's giving me it's rewriting it for me. Please provide details, comparison roles between the principal designer and principal designer in the context of the construction design management. Please explain the specific responsibilities, qualifications. Blimey, the AI version's way better than mine. Use clear and concise language to highlight the key difference and similarities between these two positions. That is it in a nutshell. I wrote about 6 words and then it produced that. So I think that is really, really good. Let's see what the answer is. Okay, this is the power of AI. It's amazing. Okay, let's see. Okay, it's come up with some all sorts there. ChatSonic. Certainly, the role of building regulation principal designer and the principal designer under the CDM regulations have distinct but related responsibilities. I can't even read now. It's too early in the morning. Let's break down the specifics. Building regs principal designer. So this is the kind of new one. The building regulation principal designer is responsible for ensuring that health and safety considerations are integrated into the design and planning of the construction project to comply with building regulations. Okay, so what I feel that is like it says here, task. Their task includes coordinating health and safety in the design phase, identifying, eliminating, or controlling health and safety risk, providing relevant information to duty holders, ensure compliance with building regulations. Okay, so I think that most good architects are doing this anyway, because when we design a multi-story block of apartments, etc., even though it's design staging and you're going to put it in for planning, we're checking whether the stair works, part K. We're checking whether the fire strategy works, part B, with your AOVs, smoke vents, windows in proximity to boundaries. That's always a key one that gets forgotten. Windows in proximity to on corners, where if you've got 2 windows that are too close to each other and in different dwellings or a circulation area, then you need fire windows. What else is there? There's all sorts that you need to be checking, and the other thing is health and safety wise is, can you clean the windows safely, or do you need some sort of Mount Everest climbing equipment? So there was one situation where we were doing a delivery on a design that had a green roof right on top of the building that you couldn't get to safely. So what we did is we said, look, we're not going to put the green roof on the top of the building. We're going to put the green roof on a lower roof, another flat roof. It was lower down, and we said, look, it has more benefit because people can actually visually see it, and 2, you can maintain it safely. So this is what architects should be doing, but I think architects are doing this already, but I think what we need to do is probably have a written, some sort of, how can we evidence that we did this? So maybe a check sheet. But what we're going to do next is we're going to look at another automating architecture top tool. So we're doing Right Sonic at the moment, and we're going to jump on to Has Pod. So let's continue with this. Principal designer responsibilities defined by the CDM. We've done that. Qualifications. You should have the necessary skill, blah, blah, blah. So it can be anyone as long as you've got the necessary skill. Really, I always think that's quite woolly. But it's, I suppose it's true. The task involves identifying, eliminating, control health and safety risks during the design and planning phase. Liaising with the client and other duty holders, ensuring the designs comply with the duties, etc. So the other thing that we would probably be doing now in terms of building regs is also part A, structure. We would be quizzing. We work closely with structure engineers, and I think most good architects always have their favorite engineer. The engineer and the client, etc., should have friendly contractor and friendly engineer, and maybe M&E as well, and saying, okay, if it's a 6-story multi-apartment building, how are we dealing with progressive collapse? And maybe just ticking that off the form and saying that this can be built safely, etc. So really early on, and same with basements and all those kind of things. Maybe it's a basement in proximity to other buildings. There needs to be some sort of consideration with the engineer very early on to say, are we able to build this basement safely? Okay, let's crack on and then just evidence that. Key difference, similarity. The building regulation principal designer specifically focuses on compliance with building regs. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. While the principal designer under CDM regs has a broader responsibility for health and safety for the project. The building regulation principal designer is mandated to ensure compliance with building regulations, where the principal designers focus on coordinating health and safety throughout the project lifecycle. Yeah, definitely agree with that. Both roles involve coordinating health and safety considerations during the design phase. So, it's what we're always doing. In summary, the building regs principal designer and CDM have distinct focuses, but roles share the common goal of integrating health and safety considerations into the design and planning and phases of construction of the project. So really, we're doing this already. So really, architects, we should be putting a fee down if we're undertaking these roles. We should be doing the CDM for building regs if you're submitting a planning application. That's my opinion. If you're not doing the principal designer's role, maybe that can come later, but we're always doing that. So you might as well jump into it. I've got the newly released Reba. You can see I haven't even read it yet, so maybe that's a bit of weekend reading to see if this is actually useful or dead boring, but maybe that'll be another video. So we're doing it anyway. So why not get fees for it? Here's a great way to upskill. So charge fees for CDM principal designer, and charge at design stage, and charge for building regs principal designer at design stage, and produce a couple of there can be one pages, I feel, just noting out what any risks or what process you've gone through to look at that. So in that aim, what we're going to do is jump into the second part of this video. Stay with me, and we're going to jump to this program here. It's called HasProd. I use this all the time because I'm the one doing health and safety and CDM. So this is true. You can create your health and safety documents 5 times faster. If you can create, I think automating architecture is about, you know what you're doing and you just need the right tools to get it done. And I think if you can do it 5 times faster, then you're more likely to do it when you're supposed to do it, but also you're going to do it better, because if you can do it really fast, then you're just in it, and you're probably going to smash it in terms of what the key risks and scenarios are, you're going to do it thing. If you're slaving on doing a save as on some sort of Word document that you've got in the office, you're at risk that that Word document is going to have bad information or information that's relevant for another project but not the new project. So if anyone was to ever audit or read that document, if they caught the wrong addresses and this and that, you're going to be in big trouble. It's going to definitely show that you did a save as and whatever, and that's why we use HasPod. And what I'm going to do is quickly show you that how cool it is. So you subscribe to it. I think it's about 600 quid a year, which is, for me, is nothing, absolutely nothing with the time it saves you. So if we go into documents, you can see all the recent edits I've done and all the different types of templates. But what I'm going to do is go to templates, and you can see there's lots and lots and lots of templates, because it's not just for architects, for everyone dealing with health and safety. So I'm going to just jump to CDM, because we're talking about CDM, and then boom, it's got all the CDM templates there. It's got the client brief, it's got the construction phase plan, and it just goes through. It's got the principal contractor appointments and all this. So if you've got contractors that are struggling, whatever, you can kind of help them out and say, look, use this, and it will give them a great framework to work from. So what I'm going to do is, as an example, which one should we jump into? Client brief. Let's jump into that one. So that is not the one I wanted to look at. Okay, let's jump in. Let's go back again. Designer appointment, construction, health and safety file handover, pre-construction information, health and safety. Let's have a look at this one. Okay. So this is designer appointment under health and safety. You can see that it's got design, construction, design and management. All you need to do is fill out all the standard stuff, and it tells what your duties are in terms of principal design and all those kind of things, and the designer's duties. So that's really, really good. Okay, so you can fill out that's a kind of like right at the beginning, so that if it was audited, the client has appointed the right people in the right manner and the right duties have been explained, and then you can go on to doing actual stuff. So you've got construction phase. No, we don't want to do construction phase. We want to do yeah, here it is, principal designer's appointment. That was the one I was looking for. Principal designer's appointment. You can fill it out really easy, and you can see this is really interesting here. You've got the tick, appoint as principal designer under the construction design management 2015. That's the one we're used to. And now we've got appointed as principal designer as under the Building Regulation Act Amendment Regulation 2023. That's the new one. So it's got it in here what your responsibilities are. You've got who it's appointed by, etc. And here you've got the principal designer's duty, CDM, Regulation 11, CDM. And then it jumps on to the building regulations version and building ratios. So this is absolutely gold for architects, anyone who's undertaking the CDM role for building regs and for CDM. It's really good that big books like this, it's hard to digest. This really breaks it down for you, and it's got all the forms. And once you create this form, you go edit, and you can put all your goodies and such in it. It then comes to here, and you can see I've got stuff going back in 3 years, etc. So that is the key thing with HasPod. Let me get the right one. HasPod. So health and safety, I don't know, POD. So this is going to keep you tip top and on board. So 600 quid a year. So hopefully that was useful on health and safety. It's an important topic.